Going live. I'll let you know when we're going. It's actually there.
How's my hair look?
Perfect.
Maybe take a little off the top and you'll be okay.
Yeah, that actually, it doesn't grow on the top. It's the only place I don't have to take any on.
Got
It
it.
grows everywhere else. I'm very fortunate.
Fantastic.
Okay, guys. So I think it looks like we're live here. Welcome, everybody, to the Arizona NORML July 2020 chapter meeting. And we got a great lineup here tonight. We've got Todd Gilchrist, who's going to be doing some national updates here for NORML, and he's going to be joining me on doing some Arizona updates as well. We've got Mike Robinette from Southern Arizona NORML, who's going to be filling us in on what's going on down south of Phoenix. And we've got Alejandro Chavez joining us from the campaign with Smart and Safe. And we've also got Sam Richards joining us from the Arizona Dispensary Association. Thank you all, and welcome to the July update here. We're going to jump right in and start talking about some of the important things that are on everyone's mind here tonight. And to start that off, Alejandro, could you talk a little bit about your background and what brings you in here today, and where we're at, what the status, and how everything looks on the Smart and Safe side?
Absolutely. So my name is Alejandro Chavez. I'm the political director for Smart and Safe Arizona. As you can see, my placement is quite fine. I know that's what we do in these Zoom rooms now, right? You're supposed to, if you have a book, you place it. If you have a sign, you place it. I do not have a book. I do have a sign. So a little bit on myself. I was very fortunate. I grew up in the movement. My grandfather was Cesar Chavez. So growing up in the movement, volunteerism and community activism was not really a choice. Volunteerism, you have a choice. We didn't have a choice. We kind of just had to help. It was just the way it went. But before that, or since then, I've worked for, I ran Ruben Gallego's first legislative race. I ran his first campaign. I also worked for MoveOn.org for about 4 years, ran Democracy for America's federal election program, spent a little bit of time with Next Gen, which was pretty awesome in 2018. And then I was with the ACLU doing some really great work in Iowa and several other states. So I have done a lot of organizing, from issues to candidates, and I'm really excited to be here. So what I'd like to do is give everyone an update, and then as all these things happen, right before this call, something got approved, it's live, and I'm going to share it with all you first. So some of you have not seen this, and I believe Sam, that may be you. So he's going to see it for the first time. Some of you have heard me talk about it. So some of you are like, what are you talking about, Alejandro? Well, you're about to find out in just a few minutes. But let me give you an update on what happened with the campaign. So for those of you who don't know, last Wednesday, which seemed like so long ago, we turned in 420,000 signatures to the Arizona Secretary of State. Round of applause. That's a lot of great work.
Job, guys.
Everybody here, everybody on this call. If you got one signature, if you just signed, if you avoided my call once I said send it in, if you avoided the text that said bring it down, or if you brought it down, or if you notarized, whatever, thank you so much. I can't tell you the appreciation. And just because, a little shout out to Michael Weiser, who had so many that we can't even count how many he had. So a little shout out when we turned him in. He was there with me, and I hope he was there with all of you too, in spirit, because he got a lot of signatures for one individual person. And so it was good it was really special to turn them in and know he was there with us in that regard.
Thank you for that, Alejandro. Yeah, no, thank you for that.
Thank you all. I know that you all have been working with him many more years than I have. I've been with him since September. But I share his passion for not just marijuana legalization, but for this organization and for all the volunteers that he met across the state in his car with his little pen and his badge, and the signs, and just the countless stories and everything. So just he was there, and I want you all to know the campaign has him there in the forefront with every step we do. Every step he's right there in the forefront. He led this way before a lot of us were even in this industry, before this was even industry in Arizona. And so for him he's with us every step of the way. And I want to assure that to all of you as we go on throughout every step. So
that's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. And so where we are is there's take great joy in that we've turned in that many. But I would say we can't celebrate quite yet because there's a couple of steps, but let me walk you through it. So first, we have to get it approved, which means our signatures have just been counted and are just there. They're just counted and there. That should happen any day. Once that happens, there's a 10-day business day period that anybody has to challenge signatures. There's no anticipation it will, but like many of us, I thought Donald Trump would not be president, and here we are. So 10 days of sweating it out, but we don't know of anything. There's no anticipation of it, but it is the reality that somebody could challenge, you might hear it's called pull paperwork, pull our papers. And that just means somebody's going to check all the signatures. I've gotten a lot. I know you all did. I'm pretty confident we all made sure somebody was a registered voter. We all got them notarized, made sure somebody signed the back, stayed in the box. So if you did your due diligence, as we did and everybody else did, I'm pretty confident that you did. I think we'll be fine, but it is a 10-day period that we do have to wait before we can say we're actually going to be on the ballot. So, and that starts from when we get cleared, which should be any day. Okay?
Awesome.
Yeah. And so that's where the campaign is right now. Now, just to remind everybody, there's an election coming up in August, but that is not us. Once we make the ballot, we will be on the November ballot. So just keep that in mind. Everybody who's watching, I know sometimes people could be like excited about it and look for it on the very next ballot they get, and we appreciate it. But if you look for it on the August ballot, excuse me, it's not going to be there. It will be on your November ballot once we're cleared. So I just want to say that. I know people do
differentiation, yeah.
Right? So remember, November. Now that's all the updates we have. We're going to be moving to the next phase of the campaign, which has it's more voter engagement, more voter participation. It's not just voter contact. It's a little, to be honest, we don't want to start too early because then we get people excited about the August ballot. So we'll be talking about it and doing it. But the idea of going door to door, every day, weekends, double shifts, that's probably not going to happen in September, August. We will be getting out there and doing voter contact, but the hard part, grinding, the ballots are going to hit, just that part will happen more in September after the August election has happened. So exciting stuff. Now, the part I want to share with Ryan, and actually I forgot to do this in the beginning. I want to appreciate Ryan. With Move On, Democracy for America, and all those groups, I used to do these calls like once, twice a week, coordinating this many people's schedule, setting everything up, and making sure that it all runs right while still running it. Much kudos, man. I've been there. And then making sure we all know what we're going to talk about to all of you. So, just much kudos. I know this is a lot of work that goes into it, and we really, really do appreciate it, brother. We appreciate you to be able to share out there with everybody and give them an update.
Thank you. And by the way, just to really say, it's been my pleasure working with you guys. So thank you so much for everything that you've done. And, we really couldn't have gotten here without Michael Weiser, so he laid all the groundwork, the foundation for this stuff to happen here. So thank you very much for that recognition there. And thank you for everything that you guys have done as well. I mean, holy crap. We're making this thing's happening, right?
Right. We got a way to go. That's right. All right. Yep. So let's get down to some of this. So, just to step back from a second and visualize, what moves people to be engaged? I'm an organizer, and there's a saying. It says, if you want people to build a ship, you don't give them materials, you get them excited about the ocean, then they'll build you anything. And so I really want to hone in on that part, because the next part of the campaign is going to kind of zone in on the piece of that. How do we get people excited about the ocean? Now, we know that if you just read people facts and data points, that they may hear it, but it doesn't really step into them. It doesn't touch them. It doesn't move their heart, their soul, right? It may stick in their mind, but data is not the mover. What moves is people's stories. What moves is the story of Michael Weiser, for example. What moves is Mike's story. What moves people is Ryan's story and Sam's story. Those are what move people to support, engage, be part of. Now, it's very unauthentic to think everybody has a camera crew that's at their house that just happens to film them saying nice things, okay? That's not real. And in today's day and age, I got this S10, and apparently it's got like an amazing camera. And most people have some sort of camera device on their phone or computer or even a handheld still. And we want to give people the opportunity to bring that, what's in their mind and their souls and their stories, to the campaign. So it's not just us and any actors we could hire and any great stories I could come up with. I can come up with a lot of great stories. I really can. But it's much better if we have the people who own the stories sharing the stories in their own way. So I'm going to take, I know I'm going a little bit longer than anticipated, but I want to
no, that's fine.
I want to share this thing we're releasing with everybody, brand new. So the boss approved it, like the lingo on it, and said, yes, it's fine, let's use it, like an hour, like less than an hour ago. So I am going to share this with everybody. I'll make the link available. You're welcome to use it. Now, do know, one is we've used it on some people. We've never had a lot of people use it. So if you use it and we end up getting a lot, there's a chance it may break. There's no way for us to say, oh, well, 10,000 people are going to share a video right at one time. Like, so if we get a lot, it could break, in which case, sorry, but thank you. Thank you for breaking our tool with all your cool stories, right? So just know that could happen.
Never that technology has failed ever, right?
And so if there is a challenge in uploading or something, just know that it could be a loading of just a lot of people loading, and that does happen, you know, when you share a lot of things and websites crash and landing pages crash, and if you send a lot of data, and these might be big. So what this is it's an opportunity for you all to share your story on why you support Smart and Safe Arizona to legalize marijuana here in the state recreationally. And then it's got some other places for you to share on social media and to engage. So let me share with you, and I'll walk you through
it.
And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to post the link in the chat. Now, the only reason I'm not going to do it now is because if you guys are like me, or any of you all are like me, you will look at that link and not listen to me. I know, because I used to run these calls all the time, and I've been on these calls, and I've opened the link and not listened to the caller. Okay, so bear with me. All right, screen share. Make sure I get everything closed that I need closed. Open. All right, here we go. So here we are, Smart and Safe Arizona. Share your story. I won't go through all this with you. You can read it yourselves. You're all able to read. What we do want to do is keep the stories to 15 to 60 seconds, 15 seconds to 60. There's some more great tips here on how to record your video and so forth. There's also social media tips for sharing your story. Some people want to just share it whether the campaign uses it or not. We don't always use everything. You can share it. If you just like, well, if the campaign wants to use it, great. I don't want to share it on my social media. That's fine. We have a place here where you can send it directly to us, and we hope you do. The reason it comes to us and just loading, a couple of reasons. There's a lot of great stories out there, but sometimes people say things that are a little not what we're trying to share with everybody. So we kind of want to make sure that it's all positive and informative and vetted in a way. Two is the quality. People are great, but you'll see that there's a lot of opportunities where people sometimes, you know, they're holding it this way and they post it that way, or they have their hand over the microphone or the thumb over the screen. Any of that, we just want to make sure we get a quality control check. So there's some great tips. And then if you scroll down, you'll see here, if you need help to post on the profiles, let me hide here. Here's some great talking points. Oops, sorry. Here's some great talking points and posts that you can use to get you started. So you can use this, edit it to something that just fits you a little bit, add your story, whatever. Here's just something to get you going, to help us all make sure that we're swimming in the same direction. And then finally, sure, here is the place where you upload your video. So you'll come up here, you'll put your name, your email, phone number, city, a little bit about the video, and then you authorize us to use it. All right, so let me copy this link.
Cool. So what are some of the things that you don't want people putting in the video and staying away from?
I don't think it's about don't. I think it's about what would you use that would try and move somebody the most. So it's not just your personal story, but what is it in your personal story that moves people? Or what is it that is it, you know, it's not going to be for everybody that, hey, I got health and I feel better. Yeah, well, medical's passed. For some people, it's going to be like, look, I don't like having to get a medical card. I use it recreationally. I know other people that do. You know, people are going to be, hey, I don't use it, but I think community college should be affordable. Like, there's going to be people who say, hey, I don't use it, but I know somebody who's got an expungement. There's going to be a labor person who can't get a job increase because they have this on their record. And so if they can get this off their record, they can. There's going to be family members who had it in the past. So I think there's a lot of versions of why, and I encourage you to share it with your family and friends, because everybody has a story, right? Everybody has a story. I once had a writer tell me, do you know the difference between a writer and everybody else's? A writer just writes. That's it. Everybody has an amazing story. So this is your opportunity to share it, share why. I do ask to keep it to 15 seconds to 60. Makes it easier to share on social medias. And I'll be honest, if you're going longer than 60 seconds, you're probably going to lose people's interest. Like, I do get it. So I will post it in here, and you're welcome to look at it and play with it, enjoy, and I'll be here for questions when we talk later.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alejandro. I mean, awesome job with getting that stuff done. You know, I mean, once again, we can't even say how much, you know, how grateful, you know, we are as a, you know, community, and, you know, that this is finally happening here, you know, so we're excited about that. What I'd like to do is get this turned over next to Sam Richards with the ADA. And if we could kind of, you know, go somewhat similar to like what we did with Alejandro here a second ago, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, Alejandro did a great job outlining and providing an overview of where we're at. Grateful to be here. Thanks so much, Ryan, for the invitation, and Arizona NORML. My name is Sam Richard. I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona Dispensaries Association, and we work every day to protect, promote, and advance the entire regulated cannabis ecosystem here in Arizona. So a big piece of that is working arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, with Alejandro and the team at Smart and Safe Arizona, because we are grateful for the 250,000 qualified patients that are a part of the program here in Arizona right now. But we know that that doesn't capture everyone who currently uses cannabis in Arizona, and it also doesn't capture everyone who wants to participate in a regulated cannabis ecosystem. So we are grateful for the 420,000 people who signed their name to that petition. And we're also grateful to the 65% of Arizona voters who have indicated that they will likely vote yes on that question as it comes to November. So just a lot of the things that you want to have be true as you put together an initiative campaign such as Smart and Safe are really lining up for us. A very strong signature gathering effort, very positive polling numbers, and a political environment that is frankly a perfect storm, and we're very much looking forward to that. You know, obviously, cannabis has been in medical use since hundreds, if not thousands, of years before the Common Era. In Arizona, we've been having regulated cannabis use for medical purposes here for about 8 years. In fact, the 8th anniversary is right around the corner. August 8th, 2012 is when the lottery for the first licenses happened here, after the voters approved the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act in November of 2010. So, you know, we have nearly a decade of maturation as a marketplace here, and we're just really excited about what's ahead for us. So really want to work hard to not repeat the great overview that Alejandro provided for us, and want to also leave some time for questions, because I hope and expect a handful from the listening audience. So unless you have any questions for me, Ryan, I think I'll leave my introductory remarks there. You have the link to Smart and Safe in your chat box. If you ever need us at the ADA, we're at azdispensaries.org, and we're also very easy to find on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, both of you. So we've got a Q&A section, towards the end of the meeting here tonight. But in the meantime, there are a couple other questions, and concerns that people have had, regarding, the Smart and Safe initiative and, what it's going to look like once November rolls around and this thing passes. So would you be able to speak a little bit about, what that's going to look like from the industry perspective once legalization rolls around?
Absolutely. So what I will say is that we are laser focused on November 3rd, and very excited for folks' participation in that election. If you are not registered to vote currently, or you need to update your voter registration, you can do that at servicearizona.com. You can also make sure that you are signed up for what some folks call the PEVL, or the Permanent Early Voting List. That makes sure that you can vote at your home. Or Alejandro might remember this campaign. There was a campaign at ASU to incentivize folks to get on the PEVL list, and we said you can vote naked. Because the reality is you can, right? If you get your ballot at home, there's nothing against voting naked. Please, if you go to the polls, please don't vote naked. But at the very least, I think that's really what our focus is on at the moment. We have just a little more than 120, 125 or so operating dispensaries across the state of Arizona. And one of the provisions in the initiative will be, focused on making sure that current footprint doesn't get all that much larger. There are definitely dozens and dozens of net new licenses that will be provided as a part of the initiative. So there will be new entrants into the marketplace. There will be new businesses, new brands, new opportunities to find flower, concentrates, edibles, shatter, whatever you want. There will be in a adult use environment. And we're just very excited. So in essence, I guess a quick, tight answer to your question, as I've rambled and rambled, Ryan, is that the system will ultimately look very similar to what it looks like now, except it will be bigger and it will be better, and more people will be able to participate in a regulated cannabis ecosystem.
Okay, and that's awesome. Thank you very much for that explanation there. I know one of the terms that's been tossed around a lot.
Right,
Go ahead, Alejandro.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, that link, Sam, that you were talking about for Safe Arizona, for voter registration, I just put in the chat. So if you need to update your voter registration or register to vote, it's there. If you do it now, it actually will not be for the primary. That date was yesterday to register to vote by the primary. So you can do all this, but you won't be able to vote if you are until November. Just update.
Thank you. And I'm going to get those links shared on the Facebook Live feed as well, so people would be able to, just jump right in on that. But I would like to bring this up, and I know one of the topics that, or one of the words that keeps getting thrown around. Oh, did we lose Sam there? I think, we lost him there for a second. So Alejandro, I know this is, more for Sam. I'm sure he'll be jumping back on here in a second. But could you speak maybe on that, terminology around monopoly regarding, the dispensaries here in Arizona? Did you hear that?
I did. I was looking for the mute button, so I can mute. Yeah. So look, there's one particular piece I want to elevate, and that's the social equity program. In other states, what's happened is when they've allowed licensing to just go out to anybody everywhere, people have gotten them but not had the resources to build it. So large companies come in and have bought them anyways, right? You think it's going to mom and pop. They don't have the capital to start the overhead. And so what happens? Larger company comes in and says, hey, so what we've done actually, Sam, do you think you could mute? I think you get a little bit of feedback, Sam, that'd be great. So what's happening is by having a social equity program that's funded, it's about 25% of the annual funding will go there to get more people involved, and not just in ownership. Let's be honest, like there's a huge ecosystem here for people. And one of the things I think is crucially is that dispensaries are great, but in 5 or 10 years, when this is becoming more mainstream, and we're seeing it, they're not going to have the same value as they had. But there are parts around testing, bagging, the retail now in this COVID moment, delivery services. So I think that when we're talking about monopoly, it's not just the dispensaries, it's actually there's a whole ecosystem to get people in that is longer term. I'm sorry, the other one is security, right? Like security is a huge piece. And so it's longer term, and it's making sure that we're investing to make sure that those people have the resources to be able to get into that. Not saying here, go jump in, but not funding to help it go.
Gotcha. And Sam, did you want to have anything? I know your device just died there for a second, but thanks for jumping back in. Thank you, Alejandro. Do you have something to kind of add on there? We were just talking about the monopoly, terminology that we've heard, kind of thrown around here, and one of the concerns that people have, with the Smart and Safe initiative and that term monopoly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's definitely a question. It's a conversation that's out there. And one thing, just to add on briefly to what Alejandro mentioned, and definitely in light of the fact that Michael's memory has been invoked tonight, I'll let you know that one of the things that I've carried with me throughout this process and will continue to carry with me is something that he often said, and you've probably heard him say this, is that his job was to reform marijuana laws, right? His job wasn't to reform capitalism. And I think while that concern is definitely something that is ripe on people's minds and something that is a valid conversation to have, what we're facing right now is a question of whether or not we want to effectively end prohibition in Arizona or if we want to continue it. And I think that there's a variety of different ways we can address that issue and attack that problem. This is the one that we have in front of us now, and we've submitted 420,000 signatures to move the needle towards the decisive end to prohibition in Arizona, and we're looking forward to being a part of that solution.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Sam. I think that's a great point in perspective to take with this, because frankly, it's about marijuana reform. And it's about, being in a better place tomorrow than we are today, right? And let's face it, there's a lot of challenges right now with, anyone using cannabis out there right now. I mean, you get pulled over for a DUI and you smoked, a joint, a week ago, and it's showing up as inactive metabolites in your system. What happens currently? Well, you're getting charged with a DUI.
Yep.
Right? So one of the big things that, this initiative does is it actually provides protections for normal citizens out there that are using it. It's not just medical patients. It's everyone, right, that's affected by this stuff here. So there's a lot of important things that are taking place right now that we, frankly, should all be behind. And this is a starting point. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but, this is the next stage, of evolution here with our state in regard to marijuana reform. That's just how it is. And, having you guys and your support as well as the community, behind this thing all the way around has, been extremely important as we move forward through this whole entire process. So absolutely awesome. Another thing that, I hear out there as a concern is actually regarding the expungement piece afterwards. And I'm just going to kind of throw this out there and see, would either of you guys like to kind of jump in and, kind of speak to, what that expungement, I know not from a legal perspective here, but just as a overall kind of a generalized perspective. Sam or Alejandro?
Alejandro, you want to take it?
Yeah, I can. So the expungement, I think that one thing to consider is that we spoke with a lot of lawyers, worked with the ACLU, lawyers from the ACLU, figured out what other states have done, took into account our local issues, and we came up with this program. So the expungements will be a program that people have to apply for. Part of the reason why it's an application process and not just flat out done, a couple reasons. One is if it's done flat out for everybody, any monies, which we're making a lot of money available to make sure that people can get this done, that's available would actually go to the state. And in Arizona, there's a big concern that the money might be used to challenge those expungements rather than support them and get them going. That's one piece. Two is that the expungement, I think it's 2.5 ounces, 2.5 ounces or less. Well, if you do automatic expungement through the state, they would go by what the arrest was. And a lot of times people plead down with the idea that you have a less sentence, it'll come off and so forth. So it allows money to go into these community groups, ACLU and these other groups, to go in there and do the research and get the conviction with the lawsuit is, or the court conviction is, and use that for the expungement, not the arrest. And that's a lot of people be included. And then the other piece is that the expungements have never been done in Arizona. They're actually not on the books. It's not something that you could just go look up and that the state would say one button, here's expungement. It'd have to be done by city, and city. And I don't know about you, but the government doesn't exactly work the same from city to city to city to city, because that's where all the things are. And so the idea is that we know groups like the ACLU, NAACP, and other groups that are trusted in the community have the ability and the resources to process these things faster in cities. What they lack is the funding. And so there is I don't remember the exact amount because I don't have my cheating paperwork in front of me, but there is monies available. And I think it goes for a certain amount of time once it's legalized. So it's like a year, right, Sam? Is it
Yes.
a year? Yeah, it's a year from the date it's legalized that it'll go. So it's got time, and it will. So it is going to be a process, but that's the reason why we did it that way. And like I said, this is something talking with the ACLU and other states that they felt was the best way, considering all of the politics in Arizona, knowing that, we don't always have a favorable attorney general. We don't always have the county attorney in Maricopa is not always favorable. The county attorney in Coconino and Pinal and Pima and Santa Cruz and these other counties are not favorable. So the idea was to remove them being able to be an obstacle and really put it in the community's hands that we know take this leadership already. Sam, if you feel the need to add anything, please feel.
No, you did great. Sorry. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's awesome. So, to kind of piggyback on that right there, thank you for answering. Are there any challenges that you foresee coming out of this from the perspective of, legalization here, with the Smart and Safe initiative? Is there any issues that you foresee, on the challenge side coming through?
Do you mean like the opposition?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I think, there will always be folks who are in positions of power that are detractors to the idea of ending prohibition. One or a couple of things anyway that I'll point out is that the former county attorney who was in power during the 2016 campaign, Bill Montgomery, it's kind of this like mixed bag, right? He got a promotion. He now sits on the Supreme Court. But because of that, he is much less involved in political conversations. So he will be, as an individual in any case, be much less of a force when it comes to the opposition. On top of that, the head of Insys Therapeutics was one of the major donors to the opposition campaign right now. He's comfortably sitting in federal prison at the moment. And that now takes that off the table as well. And there's a handful of other major contributors to the opposition from 2016 that are either in legal trouble or no longer with us in physical form. So we're hopeful that the opposition will be continue to be negligible. The Arizona Chamber of Commerce has announced their opposition, but frankly, that in some ways that was expected, and a continued disappointment that Arizona's business leaders don't necessarily respect or understand the fact that we are one of the bright spots in Arizona's economy right now. More than 18,000 pounds of product were purchased by and consumed by the 250,000 qualified patients across the state, contributing more than $4 million in sales tax revenue to the state. Restaurants right and left are closing, which is unfortunate and heartbreaking. I have many friends in the restaurant industry, but the cannabis industry here in Arizona is alive and well. If you look at any one of the dispensaries or plant touching businesses across Arizona, they likely all have jobs or multiple positions open for hiring. And those are not replacement jobs. Those are net new jobs. The industry in Arizona is growing. we are a source of tax revenue both for the medical program and the adult use program come November.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I think Todd's got a question here as well.
Yeah, concerning lab testing, are we going to be ready in November? And do you guys have any comments on that, on testing in general?
Yeah, so I just have a brief comment on there, and I only want to make it brief just because at least represented here in the panel, I'm not sure in the audience, but at least on the panel, I don't think there's anybody deeply entrenched in the lab community, so I don't want to say something that someone can't defend. But the Dispensary Association and our members welcome additional testing requirements and welcome streamlined requirements, not only for patient safety but also for continued public trust. It is our understanding that very few labs already. So I just want to make it clear that if anything changes with that November 1st implementation date, it is only because and likely because the entire ecosystem is not ready to address that, not because we are interested in skirting any type of safety requirements or trying to do an end around on patient safety or public trust. Not sure if that directly answered your question, Todd.
Yeah,
but
thank you for that input. That's great. Good answer.
Ryan, you're on mute if you're talking.
Right, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I thought I hit it there. All right. So, Mike, did you have any questions there for Alejandro or Sam? And before we jump into the next piece.
No, I think it was, I think you guys did a great job covering some of the major topics. So I appreciate all the input from both Alejandro and Sam. Thank you so much.
Yes. Awesome. And if you guys will stick around, thank you.
No, we'd love that.
Here towards, we're going to have a Q&A section coming up here very shortly after we run through some normal updates. And so you're more than welcome to stay. Otherwise, if you got something more impressing to take care of, feel free to jump off. All right.
I'm going to be off camera
just
to get a charger, but I'll be here. All right. I'm just.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Todd for some national normal updates.
All right. We've got about 8 updates from national. Number 1 is comes from Texas. The Austin police to cease making arrests and are issuing citations for minor marijuana offenses. That's number 1. Number 2 comes from the state of Nebraska, where activists have submitted over 182,000 signatures to qualify a proposed 2020 medical marijuana ballot initiative. So kudos to Nebraska for that. Number 3, we got Nashville, Tennessee. The district attorney is ceasing low-level marijuana prosecutions. So that made it number 3 on the list. And number 4 is Arizona. Turns in nearly twice the needed marijuana signatures for the recreational ballot. Smart and safe, baby. Woo! Okay. Number 5, we got Ohio. Senate overwhelmingly advances measure to expand decriminalization policies. 6, we got Colorado. Legislation signed into law, providing governor expanded authority to pardon marijuana offenders. Number 7, Virginia's got a marijuana decriminalization law that took effect on Wednesday, July 1st. So it's decriminalization. I didn't read too much into it, but it made number 7 for Virginia. And then number 8 is an ongoing series that NORML has going with Keith Stroop, my hero. Is looking at 50 years anniversary, the early legalization movement. There's lots of good stories on there. I recommend anybody interested to go read that. And that's all I have for national updates.
Hey, Todd, where can they go to see that series?
They can go see that at the national at normal.org.
Got it.
That's NORML.org.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Todd. As far as, I guess the next step here, we're going to jump in, do some updates here for Arizona NORML. And at the state level, we've been pretty busy. We've been working with several outside resources to pull things in and, create these additional resources, new membership stuff on the website. So there's a lot of work and things that are happening to create a structure here for us for coming up in November and what happens after November. So that's there's been a lot of planning here, and if you want to get involved, if you want to be involved with helping the legalization efforts here in Arizona, please reach out to us. Go to our website, Arizona NORML, NORML.org, ArizonaNORML.org. We're going to have some new updates coming through off the website over the next couple weeks. And I think we're going to be adding in probably starting next month a second meeting, to the agenda. So we're still kind of in the planning stages of that. But that's all I've got. Really, not a whole lot besides the wonderful news that Alejandro was able to share with us with the legalization, the effort here. So thank you very much. Todd, did you have anything else on the state side that you'd like to share?
Donations at ArizonaNORML.org. Please donate if you can.
Thanks, Todd.
PayPal. Thanks.
Awesome. And that's true, yes. So we're going to be revamping our donations page as well. So that's going to be coming up, over the next 30 to 45 days. So look for it there. But it does still work. So please go over to the Arizona NORML page. And if you're looking to donate and help us out, help the initiative out, that's a really simple and straightforward process. So we look forward to your donations and your help and any assistance, that you may be willing to provide. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mike Robinette from Southern Arizona NORML for the Southern Arizona NORML update.
Oh, well, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Robinette with Southern Arizona NORML, and I'm also on the board of Arizona NORML. I believe my title is secretary. That is correct, Ryan? I am the secretary. Thank you, Todd.
Well, I thought it was Jack of wears all hats.
I pretend to, exactly. But I just want to give you a few updates from down here. However, my first update from down here is up here with Arizona NORML. And Ryan and I and Todd have been working, as Ryan alluded to, quite frequently. And a lot of my energy actually has been working with the state chapter. My board down here is fully supportive. We view both Arizona NORML and Southern Arizona NORML really collaboratively as just normal. So we work together, we're on the same team, and that's what we've been doing a lot of work with the state chapter, and it's been quite gratifying in moving the chapter forward. I do want to briefly thank Michael Weiser relative to Smart and Safe and the 420,000 signatures. Michael and I tabled quite regularly out on the road, and we had a great time doing that, and he was an inspiration, so I'm really happy to see 420,000 signatures. Thank you to him. And I also want to thank, of course, Alejandro and Sam with Smart and Safe and the ADA, and also petition partners for the paid circulators who were out there all the time. And lastly, I want to thank Arizona NORML and Southern Arizona NORML's volunteers. We had volunteers down here who were very consistent in gathering signatures, and I'm a notary, so we had a good system worked out. Our volunteers, as soon as they just call me, I'd stamp it and we'd be done. So thumbs up to 420,000 signatures and Smart and Safe. One of our big things with Southern Arizona NORML is giving back to the community, and that's what we do. We adopted a highway. If any of you are familiar with Tucson, we adopted Campbell Avenue, which is not a highway like I-10, but honestly, when you're walking on it, the cars are buzzing by quite regularly. However, we adopted a highway and we cleaned the highway monthly to give back to the community. And our last highway cleaning was it's always on the second Saturday of the month. Last June, on June 13th, we cleaned, and believe it or not, we're cleaning again this Saturday, July 11th, at 7 a.m. So if you're in the Tucson area and you're yearning to clean a highway, come see us. We meet at 7 a.m. this Saturday, July 11th. We meet in the Trader Joe's parking lot on Campbell Avenue. Look for an FJ Cruiser, and I'll be there wearing my cleaning yellow fluorescent vest. Also, bring a mask. We will be masked up and practicing social distancing. And one last quick thanks to our volunteers down here who always enthusiastically embrace the highway cleaning.
Hey, Mike.
Todd.
Are you guys gonna get a sign that says Southern Arizona
Yes, here's
Normal?
the thing.
And when is that coming?
With excitement. The last time I communicated with Tucson Clean and Beautiful, I said, so, because the clause is in your contract is if you clean the highway for 6 times, I guess to show that you're, responsible and you'll get it done, you get a sign. Well, this is like our 9th or 10th cleaning now. The sign has been ordered. However, I don't know where it is, but we have a standing party waiting to happen. When that sign gets erected on Campbell Avenue, we'll be there 6 feet apart with masks on, but we'll be celebrating that sign. Okay, I feel better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you.
I love the passion.
Yeah, we get a little excited down here. Okay, next, real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't want to take up the whole show, but next, we're continuing the tradition of with a national normal as well as Arizona normal by compiling a primary and general candidate guide. And if you are, it's where we basically we've already sent emails out to all the candidates in national as well as federal, as well as state elections, all the legislative districts, both House and Senate. And we're going to be compiling a guide that will, in essence, will rate the candidates relative to their positions on cannabis. We do need help with that. So if you're a volunteer and you're looking for, if you're kind of interested in politics, great volunteer opportunity. Shoot Ryan an email at ryanw@arizonanormal.org. And he could probably throw that up there. So if you're interested or want more information, or you could send me an email also, mike@soaznormal.org, and I can answer questions or recruit you as well. Lastly,
by the way, Mike, real quick, sorry, let me jump in real quick there. Sure. And if that's too hard to remember, you could always send it to info@or contact@arizonanormal.org, and that'll go to all of us. Okay. Perfect. So any of those email addresses there will work just fine. Thank you. And I'll let you close on up there, Mike.
I'm going to close real quick. Lastly, we actually, at the genesis of this chapter, one of the first things we did is we reached out, we met with the mayor's office and all the council offices. And we actually compiled a report on marijuana arrests in the city of Tucson. It's about a 7-page report. But what we discovered in our quest to see how might we reform marijuana laws in Tucson, we discovered that it's probably not going to get done through the city council and the mayor's office because of something called SB 1487, which does not allow a municipality to, in essence, override a state statute. However, where our work is really important and where we're focused now relative to the reform of marijuana laws is with the Pima County Attorney's Office. There is a 3-person Democratic race, and that race will be decided in the primary. There are 3 candidates running to basically take over an office that has been run by Barbara Lawal down here in Tucson for 24 years. So the candidates are Jonathan Mosier, Laura Conover, and Mark Diebold. Both Jonathan Mosier and Laura Conover spoke at our chapter meetings. And we were thinking about doing a debate with them, but we submitted to them 14 really kind of good questions centered around cannabis and drug reform. And we're going to use those 14 questions to rate them. And of course, we're going to publicize the questions. I just got Jonathan Mosier's responses back. Laura Conover has already reached out and said she'll have them to me this week. And so what we're really excited about is we have good candidates down here to assume the throne of the Pima County Attorney. And we built those relationships so that we can be a seat at the table, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen, even with Smart and Safe. One of the big issues is how will, for example, the Pima County Attorney's Office handle something outside the purview of smart and safe. For example, 3 ounces of possession, or oops, I was growing 12 or 8 plants instead of 6. So there's a lot of conversations going to have to happen, and we just want to have a seat at the table. And with
Mike,
that, I'll end. And I just want to say, as always, please follow our social media as well. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And our website is soaznormal.org. And thank you so much. Thanks to Ryan and Todd. And again, many thanks to both Sam and Alejandro. And we appreciate everything. So thank you. Give yourselves a hand. 420,000 signatures. And with that, I'm muted.
Awesome. And then Sam, you had a follow-up, right?
I did. I wanted to take the panelist prerogative and put in a quick plug for that debate, because the one that y'all did for the Maricopa County debate was absolute fire. So hopefully the Pima County attorney debate also brings the same amount of fun and excitement. So I'll be tuning in, that's for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. And we look forward to having, more debates, coming up here in the future as well. I think it's, an important, piece of what we're all about and what we're all trying to accomplish. So, and thanks, Mike, for the wonderful send-off. I'm going to actually turn it over right now to the Kush Chronicles, Allison Stein, to talk about, questions here.
Really, is there a testing bottleneck possible in November? And if we were to go adult use today, would the cannabis industry be ready for it? Anybody?
Perfect. So I'll take a stab at both, but in reverse order. So the second question was, if we were to go to adult use today, would we be ready? The answer to that, I believe, is no, with a qualification. We're not going to adult use today, so that's very, very good news. What I can say from my experience and the vantage point that I have, if not all, at the very least, it's 98.5% of current producers in Arizona are making investments into their infrastructure such that we will be able to produce more product for the additional demand that will come post November 3rd. But I will say, from my vantage point, my laser focus is on November 3rd, so that producers across the state can focus on November 4th.
Awesome.
Thank you there, Sam. Allison, were there any more? So Allison says that, I'm sorry, what was that, Allison? Is there a potential testing bottleneck that we're going to be looking at once legalization happens?
Yeah, I think well, so first of all, I'll say that hasn't, the potential bottleneck in my mind doesn't necessarily have anything to do with adult use, because the testing requirements going to affect November 1st. And I want to make a clear distinction that means products sold on November 1st have to be tested. So that doesn't mean, that all of a sudden those new requirements start November 1st. That means that, for any of you who, regularly utilize edibles or some non-edible products, such as like topical tinctures or topicals or tinctures or things like that, there's a potential that some dispensaries are already receiving product that have an expiration date beyond November 1st. Those products will not be able to be sold because none of them have been tested per the new rules. So it is definitely a possibility that there will be a bottleneck, but we are working very closely with the Department of Health, other state leaders, and a select number of lab testing partners to make sure that doesn't happen. So everyone that is a part of the ecosystem is committed to making sure that this is not an issue that consumers will feel on that end of the equation.
One more question just came up. Once adult use passes, how long does AZDHS have to implement rules from their rulemaking process?
So I'll definitely lean on Alejandro to answer some specifics if he wants, but I think it is not immediate. The department has to promulgate some rules for that application process to start, and then once those applications are submitted, there's a review process. But I will say emphatically, not as an official member of the campaign, but just as a person, I think one kind of flag that you can plant in the ground is that for April 20th of 2021, there will be an adult use market.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
April 20th?
It's almost like the 420,000 signatures was on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So great responses, guys. Allison, was there any other additional questions, or did anyone else have any additional questions that they'd like to speak up while we got these wonderful guests, joining us here today? I get you muted, by the way. Sorry, guys, just getting her unmuted.
About how many certification labs do we have in Arizona? Is one of the questions. Sam's going to his phone.
Yeah. So one thing that I'll say, sorry, that I'm outside in my carport because I have construction going on inside. This was horrible technology move on my part. I apologize to you all. So big fan of NORML and grateful for this conversation. Underneath that frame, I do want to just put in a quick plug for a conversation that's happening on Thursday evening with our friends over at META that is exclusively focused on this conversation, where we will definitely, with a pun intended, go deep into the weeds on this conversation. It is my understanding, though, Allison, to answer your question directly, that there are currently 14 labs in the state of Arizona that are certified to test cannabis. However, there is currently 0 labs that are certified by the department to test according to the new rule package that will become effective on November 1st. So there are labs who are testing cannabis now, many of them doing an absolutely fantastic job. I believe that C4 is the official partner for Earl Cup. Apologies if I got that wrong, but every product that is sent to the Earl Cup please tune into that on Friday at noon, has been tested. So folks are testing right now, but none have been certified to the department standards. And that is what the department cares about. And that is how product is able to be sold. So just to highlight that, that's something that I wanted to make sure that you're all aware of.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. I got her muted again here. All right. So thank you, guys. And with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. It's been a wonderful meeting. Thank you very much for coming on here, joining us. What I'd like to do is, as we move forward, and progress, over the next few months, do this on a regular basis with you guys, so we could do campaign updates, and we could make sure that, as the community has more questions, that we're able to, get them the answers directly from the horse's mouth. I think that's going to be extremely important as we move forward here into, getting closer to November. So thank you very much for joining us. With that, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and the other people that have helped make everything happen and be successful here with Arizona NORML. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Allison, with the Kush Chronicles. We've got some other people that weren't able to join us here tonight. Thank you, Tom Dean, for all your continued support with Arizona NORML. Thank you, META, as well as all the other organizations, Sam, with the Arizona Dispensary Association. And if you'd like to find out more information about how you can advertise with us and market and promote your own company, we are opening up conversations on that level as well. So look forward to having those conversations as we move forward. Look for more information and a follow-up blog post on our website to summarize today's meeting coming up within the next few days. Thank you all once again. And with that, have a good night.